A very good Friday afternoon to you. It's the 31st of March, already so soon. Where's the year going? We've got the hour back, the days are getting longer, the weather's getting a little bit better. We still see some rain here in Manchester, but it's Manchester. What I want to talk about today is something that's become very prevalent in my life this year, but something that I've seen coming for the last 3 years, maybe. And what I want to talk about is my favourite subject, me. Um, the the way I'm being affected by this is something I saw coming, but not with the voracious nature that it's happening. So what is it about me that I want to talk about? Well, as you know, because I've done a video about it before, because of my ever failing health, I'm now registered as disabled, and I have a Motability vehicle. And if you look back a couple of years when I got my most recent car, I explained how Motability worked, and unlike a lot of people believe, it's not free in any way, shape or form. We do very much like a commercial lease. We have to put a lump sum at the beginning, and then we have to pay X amount of money every single month, which we don't see. It's part of our disability benefit. It goes straight from the government department to Motability, and we don't see that. And the car is ours for 3 years. So, what is happening? Well, go back 3 years when I got my new car. Beautiful, lovely. I think it's great. But at that time, we were starting to see the preponderance of all the news about Tesla. And I came to the conclusion that what would be happening relatively quickly would be all the other manufacturers would go down the same line. And that would be done in a hopefully manageable period. Now, as we're aware, Boris then decided that all of the production of old-fashioned, antiquated petrol and diesel cars would come to an end in 2030. So at that point I thought, right, okay, what's going to happen is we're going to see a gradual changeover from ICE cars to EVs on the Motability scheme. Now, lo and behold, that's exactly what has happened, and I must be mystic. It's fantastic how I see these things coming. So what has happened? Well, I'm now 3 years into my lease, which means that my lease is coming to an end. I get a letter, as do all other Motability users. It's time to look for your new car, Mr. Lomas. So I said, right, okay, not a problem at all. I had a look through the range online that Motability have, and you decide basically one, what you like, what ideally you would like, how it fits into your life, and what you can afford, because as I said, you have to pay a lump sum at the beginning and then X amount of money every month. Now, I was looking through, and because of the unmentionable infection, a lot of components, as we're all well aware, are very, very short on supply. So the amount of cars that are available to us on the Motability side has dropped immensely. In fact, many manufacturers have come off offering vehicles at all. And more cars of those small number of manufacturers, bear with me, I know this is getting a bit complicated, are now pushing EVs. Now, let me say at this point, before anybody who's an EV fan starts having a go, I love the idea of an electric vehicle. I do. It's futuristic. They're fast. They're silent. Why wouldn't you want one? Well, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs, the intricacies of why there's not the infrastructure and all that kind of thing. I'm going to talk about me and my disability and my illness. And I'll try and latch that on to everybody else. I can't speak for everybody else, but I guess everybody else who has a Motability vehicle has the same kind of mindset as I do. So, I live in a first floor flat in a 2-story block. Now, 10 years ago, when I first started having my health problems, that wasn't too bad. You know, I could manage to get in and out and go up and down the stairs and da-da. But as life has it, you get worse. You get iller and you get less able. I am now less able. And part of that is, when I talk about my pain is made worse by stress. So I require that my life is as stressless as possible. So everything I do is planned to the nth degree to make things as easy as possible for me. So you're saying, well, hang on a minute, Stuart, what are you talking about here? Well, what I'm talking about is the sheer pain in the backside owning an EV would be for someone like myself. So you have all these vehicles out there and they all say, oh yes, they've got up to 270 miles range. Well, that's great. The little thing, the 2 little words, up to. Now that's up to on a perfect weather day, on perfect road conditions, not stop-start, not heavy right foot. You don't need your heater, you don't need your radio, you don't need your lights, you don't need your windscreen wipers, all that kind of thing. All of this equals range anxiety. Range anxiety equals stress, and in my case, stress equals pain. So, what else? You're looking to charge your vehicle. I can't charge my vehicle at home. I'm on the first floor. The property isn't mine. My landlord will not allow me to have a charger installed, so I can't charge it at home. So I'll have to go and find somewhere to charge it. In my borough where I live, there are now 12 public chargers. 12. And from what I hear from other people who've done YouTube videos solely about EVs, one, you've got trouble finding one, and then when you find one, you sincerely hope that it's working, because there's a lot of them that are not. And then even if you find them that are working, generally they're all taken, and then you have to wait for whatever length of time. I guess the minimum charging time for an EV is 45 minutes. So you're waiting for 45 minutes, then you get in the space, then you charge up, then you're waiting for another 45 minutes to charge your car. So there's the best part of an hour and a half. Now, all that waiting and driving around looking for a charger and hoping that I'm going to find one that's going to be working is stressful. And stressful equals pain equals illness. So I can't have an EV. I would love an EV, and I would love them to work as well as an ICE car works. I really, really, really would. But they don't. Regardless what the EV evangelists say, they don't. And we in Britain have not got the infrastructure yet. So, let's go back 5 minutes. I've got my letter. Not a problem at all. Let's have a look. Nothing. Nothing that I like in the ICE vehicles, and absolutely nothing that I can drive with an EV, because it's too much stress. I will be constantly ill. So what have I done? Well, I have contacted Motability, and because my car is quite a nice car, because the deposit I put on it was quite high, and because I've not done a lot of mileage, because I'm so ill these days I don't drive as much as I did. To give you an idea, the car is 3 years old and there's just over 6,000 miles on the clock. 6,000. So I've said to them, look, you know, I've got my letter, I've had a look on, there's nothing that I can use, there's nothing that I like, and you're pushing the EV thing now, and from my point of view, you're falling us under to this net zero thing, not considering the stress of fueling your car, your electric car. Is going to take so long on so many fronts. It's going to take so long, making people like me stressed, in pain, and ill. So I've arranged with them to allow me to keep my car for 2 further years. Now the only impact on me there is usually they want to get rid of the car before the first MOT, which I understand because they put them into an auction house and sell them on. So you've got a car which has generally been well looked after, serviced when it should have been, and it's not had an MOT yet. So they get more money from it when they sell out the fleet that Motability have. So I'm now keeping mine, and I don't know what I'll do in 2 years. Excuse me, but I can't think about that right now, because in 2 years, what I think will have happened, so remember this video in 2 years' time, what I think will have happened is whoever's in power inevitably will have to renege slightly on the 2030 thing. About 18 months ago, I made a proclamation to my dearly beloved, and I said, what I can see happening here, because Europe was 2035, we went at 2030. I said to her, I can see that the German motor industry will come out banging on the desk about this, and something's going to happen in the EU because they won't want to change their production lines so much. And what I heard yesterday, funnily enough, that this has happened in Germany. So Porsche, Audi, and VW have all done the same. So what has happened is that the EU have ruled that ICE engines will still be allowed to be made after their deadline of 2035. And I see that that will have to happen here in the UK, because where are we now? 2023, 7 years. We're not going to be in a position where there's going to be so many freely available and reliable EV charging public stations to allow everyone to switch over. So remember this in a couple of years' time, that when I'm changing my vehicle again, I think that I will still be able to get an ICE car on the scheme. And I know that everybody will be able to go out and buy a second-hand ICE car, but I do believe that second-hand ICE cars, second-hand ICE cars are going to be very expensive, because second-hand car dealers will want to make lots and lots of profit from people who have decided that ICE is the way to go. So that's basically EVs and Motability. The pressure from government on high to a charity whose main aim is to ensure that life is made easier for disabled people is having the completely opposite effect. It's making life harder and more stressful. Just like you, I can get in my car and think, I've done it this morning. Funnily enough, I've done it this morning. I need petrol. Not a problem at all. I nipped to my local Tesco petrol station, bang in, parked up, fueled, paid, gone, 10 minutes. That's the kind of life I like. I don't want to be thinking, right, okay, where's my nearest public charger? Oh yeah, it's 4 miles away. Okay, so I drive 4 miles, I get there, there's one free, all the others are got vehicles in. I go to the one free, find that it's not working. So I don't know how long the other 3 vehicles have got. So I have to wait, or I have to go elsewhere. And then when I get there, if I find one Is it working? Are they all taken? So government are bringing down these timescales on a charity that's supposed to make life easier for people like me, and it's the opposite way. It's the opposite way, and I find that stunning that the government can be so short-sighted, and the charity who should stand up for their users, they should be saying to the government, because surely it can't just be me that can see the ramifications of all the stress that hanging around for charging and not working charges and not, will make on people like myself who are ill. The Motability should have stood up and said, listen, Boris, do you realise how ill some of our clients are and what impact this is going to have on their well-being and everyday life? It isn't on. It can't be this way. The switch can't happen until it is literally as easy and as fast to charge an EV as it is to fill up with diesel or petrol. So electric vehicles and Motability, that's how it works. That's why I'm not going to have one, even though my car's on a 20 plate. You know, having a new car doesn't bother me. Having a nice car does, and that's what I've got, and that's what I'll be keeping now until 2025, and we'll see where we go then. So EVs and Motability don't gel, I'm afraid, and things have got to change so much, and I do believe that what will happen is if not, it won't. If it doesn't go to 2035 here, it may well be will remain at 2035, but ICE engines will still be allowed to be made. That's what I think will happen, because it's going to have to. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you've got views on EVs, if you're an EV driver, let me know. Let me know your experience, and please be honest. Don't just be, oh, my EV is the greatest thing in the world. I've already said I like EVs. I'd love an EV. Fantastic. It's too much stress and too much worry, because I can't leave it at home on charge overnight. I just can't, and I'm not on my own in that. People who live in terraced houses, people who live in tower blocks, you know, people who live on canal side residences, you know, that kind of thing. If you're a dyed-in-the-wool ICE guy, let me know what your view is about where we're going, because we are going to go to alternate vehicles, we are going to go to electric, but I believe the true solution is hydrogen. I really do. And the good news on that is that Toyota have now said that their future isn't solely EV. They have a car called a Toyota Mirai, which is a hydrogen cell vehicle, and they're going down that route. I even know that JCB, the people who do all the big diggers and things, they have made a hydrogen engine. So if Toyota and JCB, one dealing with the people market and one dealing with the commercial market, can do this, I'm sure that's the answer. I really am. And although hydrogen production is expensive right now, like everything, the more it's produced and more freely available it becomes, the more cost it will come down. So I think hydrogen is the future, because with batteries, when the batteries are dead, they've got to do something with them, as well as all the other issues in and around how they make the batteries and how long the batteries last and how much weight it adds to a car and all the tyre wear and the brake wear, apart from all that. But anyway, that's it. EVs, Motability, disabled people, it's a bad mix. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.